Our game 1 Legion versus Dynamic. This is top 8, so losers do not immediately go home here. Loser and winner, respectively, will face the winner and loser of TSM Evo versus Curse later on tonight.
But not if the loser's winner faces off against the winner of the losers.
Rye is going to be the first ban out for Team Legion. I was confused there for a second, like, where's my brain going? I'm confused. I'm something.
No, it's all right. You just, you know, Section A9 meets up against
forum.
Section B7.
There we go. Rise, Olaf, Alistar, TF going to be the bans so far. And you know, the Olaf ban, of course, targeted straight for Mr. Nintendo. That's the dude he loves. That's the dude he loves to play. Very aggressive with that Olaf in the jungle, so it's not too surprising to see that ban actually come on out. So, and you know, Rise, he's also, yeah, he's not too uncommon. Actually, ban, he's a very tanky mid.
It's been a while since we've seen Rise ban, but he's still as strong as he ever was. I mean, he's just a monster tank late game. If you have a really tanky comp, he works very effectively because he has just so much sustained magic damage, coupled with the fact that he's almost unkillable. But he's fallen off for a bit for a number of reasons. One is that we're seeing more people play Anivia and Karthus, both of those champions. You know, having that ranged kind of disables or AoE can really disrupt Karthus in team or Rise in team fights. So that's a serious issue. And then also people have started playing him a lot. I don't know, not quite as tanky as they used to, which is a little bit surprising to me. I would think that you would want to still stay with those tanky builds, but the allure of damage is just a little bit too great. Yeah, well, I do fall victim to that myself, and you know, now he has tweaked ratios on all this stuff, so now he actually benefits a little bit more if you happen to build some AP on him. Like, I actually get Rod of Ages on him now. It's not too big of a deal in that tier. You know, eventually, if you upgrading it to Archangel Staff is actually a viable option now. But the first pick for Legion is going to be Vladimir. Not quite sure where he's going yet. He may be mid. He may be top. We don't know quite yet. We're going to find out when the rest of the picks do actually come out, and Nocturne being considered for Dynamic at the moment. Yeah, we'll have to see. They have a lot of flexibility. I think that Connect plays a lot of LeBlanc. I was actually about to say it'd be interesting to see if Paradoxical played something like Ari, which he's, you know, played a lot, and then we see a LeBlanc on the other side, since LeBlanc did just see those changes, those
nice
little buffs.
Tweak. So if you do the little dash with her ultimate, the Mimic.
That's how I always, when she first released, I thought that's how it was going to be. I'll let you finish going.
But yeah, if you do the dash and then mimic the dash, you can now actually return to either point after pressing the respective key in which, you know, the original dash took place. So you can actually just, you know, dash, blink somewhere else. You can just be really a jerk and very annoying with that, which I hope many people in the future will actually take up, because an impressive LeBlanc, even before the patch, was still mighty impressive. Yeah,
it should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see, you know, how she kind of changes. That's how I was kind of thinking her W would work when she originally released, and it opens up a lot of potential. It gives her one more blink in a team fight, so that's huge to have that kind of mobility in fights. It should be pretty interesting. So far, though, Legion has a nice little AoE team, but they have a lot of flexibility still with their team. Kale definitely would have been an interesting pick, but probably don't want to go that way. So Dynamic, they switch off last second because they realize, all right, Kale against Vladimir, that would be a nice matchup, but you don't necessarily know that Vladimir is going to be going in that top lane. So you could see someone else that, you know, maybe Kale doesn't necessarily do quite as well against. Though, I mean, Kale does well against most champions, but I mean, I don't know, there's a couple.
Okay, there we go. Last second, I was being trolled there for a second there. Cassiopeia and Misfortune going to be the next two picks, cast in mid. The MF bot with the Nunu support. Gonna be, I mean, she's already a speedy lady to begin with.
That's a crushing lane.
That's huge.
So MF is just, she's one of the strongest harassers in the game as far as damage output. There's a lot of champions that have a little bit more ranged harass or a little bit more nuking capabilities that are a little bit easier to play. But Misfortune's just straight out damage output is just so devastating. And when you couple that with Nunu as a support, who has the attack speed slow, which is primarily what you're going to use it for, but also the blood boil. So it's kind of like Kog'Maw in the effect that you just get that attack speed really quickly, and you already have inherent damage. So it's just, you have a lot of damage in harass, and then Corki's not going to be able to reciprocate as well. And right now, I'm really liking the team from Legion. So Vladimir probably going to be going top lane, and then Mundo in the jungle definitely makes a little bit more sense than Cat, but Cat could have been mid with Malphite in the jungle. So we'll have to see how they kind of work it out. But Malphite, when you have a heavy AoE team, is always nice. So you have just really quick upfront burst initiation, followed up with the Vladimir and with the Corki as well. And now they have an aggressive jungler with Maokai to try and pick up some quick kills and then continue to win that AoE battle.
However, there's still the top laner to be decided, and whoever Dynamics picks can just try and counter out Malphite as best they can. Rumble, not too bad. Get the double AP comp going. And I think Malphite's going to have a little bit of a rough time going up against the Yordle, the Mechanist Yordle there, top lane. Unless, there you go, still switching around. I thought, Nintendo, Jungle Rumble? Oh, man, that'd be silly.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it works out. It is going to be kind of tough in that top lane. Malphite's generally safe against most champions, but Rumble with the sustained damage and just the small little ticks can keep down Malphite's shield, which is the key. You chase him out of lane, you burst down the shield, that'll be pretty nice. But Malphite actually, with the slow, when Rumble tries to attack you, you can you walk up, you attack him a little bit, and draw the creep aggro onto Rumble, and then you run away with your Q, and you can easily you can easily get away from him. So you have that potential, and then Rumble will take a lot of damage in the minions. So he should generally be pretty safe, but he will have to watch out that he doesn't go down. But it should be really interesting to see how it works, because both in team fights, because both Cassiopeia and Miss Fortune are incredibly high damage dealers, but they are both very short range. Miss Fortune, her attack range is very short. Cassiopeia needs to be kind of up front as well. So if Malphite gets a strong initiation on either of those champions, particularly the Miss Fortune, then he can just completely shut them out of the game. So, I mean, Malphite, we've seen how strong Malphite has been recently. He's just taking over games completely, and this game's not going to be any different, or it'll be tough for it to be different. It's going to be a serious issue for them. But
this is also where champs like Nunu come in. If Dynamics going to be very short range, once those engages happen, Pixel could just be right in the middle of those fights and ult and be a huge disruption to everyone. And not to mention, there's not a whole lot right now on Legion that can actually disrupt and cancel the Nunu ult channel. I mean, you have Malphite ult, and then you have Soraka Silence. I don't think Twisted Advance cancels it out.
It doesn't, but the Q does.
Yeah. So there's not a whole lot, and if you can, and you're going to be wasting, you're going to be forcing those abilities to be wasted on the new, and not to mention also his ultimate was also tweaked a little bit as well. So if it's immediately canceled, it doesn't do 0 damage anymore. It still actually does something if he gets his positioning and gets somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The fun part was a while back when there was a bug with Nunu where if it was immediately canceled, there's like a one frame thing. If it is immediately canceled, then it does full damage.
Oh, that's just mean.
Yeah. So
that sucks.
Yeah, that did suck. But we'll have to see. I mean, the Maokai, they picked the Maokai not only for the aggression in ganks, but also having that AoE control because they already had the Cassiopeia. So we'll see how that works. I think the big thing for Legion is going to be to control the lanes first off, because they have a really nice team fight control. Bot lane, Corki and Soraka is a very safe lane, and you can just farm very easily and get off some nice harass. So if they can get any free harass against Miss Fortune, that'll be huge. But they have to watch out that they don't take a little bit too much damage.
Yeah, and Cassiopeia in the mid versus the Vlad. And that's a lot of poison damage. When Vlad comes in to try and farm, that's a lot of harass.
Yeah, well, and the poison damage goes through his pool too. So
that's right, it does.
So Cassiopeia actually works very well against Vladimir, and Vladimir, because it's a short lane, Vladimir will be able to play defensively back in the tower and then farm and heal up. But if he gets a little bit too close, a little bit out of position, Cassiopeia could kill him very quickly.
Yeah, I do worry about Maokai and the prospect of ganks. Because, like we were talking about before, this is a very close-range team, and Maokai needs to get really up close and personal to deal a lot of his damage. So I'm thinking about how effective he's really going to be in team fights. But if he manages to get a lot of those early ganks, it could actually work out really well for him. I'm thinking maybe wanting to zone in on mid quite a bit, because if he can shut down Paradoxical, that can actually really pay off later on.
Yeah, they'll have to watch out, though. There's a high percentage chance that Paradoxical could turn it around and get a double kill when he's ganking.
Oh, yeah.
So that's definitely an issue. We'll see how it works. I think bot lane could be vulnerable with the Miss Fortune just because she doesn't have any hard escapes. She's really strong, at pursuit, and when she's on the offensive, and the Blood Boil will be pretty nice, but she could be kind of vulnerable. If Maokai gets a twisted advance, she's just going to go down. So that's going to be something they're going to have to watch out for. But I think for the most part, even though Maokai is a really aggressive jungler, he won't really have a lot of options this game. So he's primarily going to take a defensive seat, and then Nocturne is going to just be in control of the jungle and everything because he just has the speed and has a little bit easier ganking time. And if Maokai ever does go in for a gank, Nocturne can just follow it up with his ultimate.
So we should be loading on in just a second here, and we'll be going underway. Legion and Dynamic, game number 1. So this is IPL face-off, San Francisco Showdown qualifiers. Now we are officially everyone in the round of 8. So if in the off chance someone loses, they're not out completely, but it is going to hinder their chances getting on in. It's going to hurt the seedings a little bit, but you know what? Here we are, Legion versus Dynamic, game number 1. Going to be seeing the Cassiopeia mid here for Dynamic. Going to have Vlad in the mid as well. Cruiser trying to do a little bit of damage as well, and Zig. Not the most commonly played AD, but MF still pretty good at high tier play.
Dynamic could decide to go for an early invades. That's something they're going to have to watch out for because they don't have any hard CCs early really. Nocturne, he's not going to go with his E, so they're not going to have the fear or anything. But they have a lot of damage, and Cassiopeia is really strong level 1. Misfortune is very strong level 1.
Oh yeah.
So they have that damage. They have the movement speed from Nunu, where they can kind of move in and out of fights. So Legion actually setting up here, maybe to prevent that invade down by the red and just kind of play defensively. Do get the sapling out, so they have a nice idea of where they are. Yep, once they clear the bush, at least.
Yeah, the sapling is going to be there to provide all the vision necessary. If anyone from Dynamic moves, they are going to know about it if they're going to be moving on in. And that's the thing about Maokai, though, is that he is semi-predictable in the jungle, and it looks like he's going to be starting the Wraiths here. So we're looking to just start off on that real quick and then go for the quick blue or even a quick red after that, and then start just straight on up ganking from there. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see if Dynamic actually pressures this. The sapling does expire, and that is the cue for Dynamic to go on in full force, sneaky into the bush. Going to go ahead, shoot out the harpoon, make sure no one's there, and there you go. That is the objective you want to do against a jungle Maokai, is take out the saplings and just stray them away before the camps spawn. Preferably not having 3 of your teammates take damage, but it's still good nonetheless, and it's going to put Maokai a little bit behind.
Yeah, and it's not just the fact that they're stealing his wraiths, but he's also a little bit behind on mana. He is going to come up and invade their jungle, though, so not only is he going to get the wraiths, but all of a sudden they're coming up, taking the reds, so that's going to set Nocturne behind a little bit. A really nice play from Legion right here. Yeah,
and very early on, Nocturne, he does rely quite a bit on the red. After getting all the damage down, after getting the fear, the red just that piles on the slow. That makes his targets a little bit harder to pursue.
Oh, but it doesn't matter because Nintendo saved his smite, got the hard pull on that blue, and he's coming right down for the red. So he's going to steal the red from Maokai right back.
That is real sexy right there. And you also have the ward placed offensively to know if Maokai is actually going to be there in the neighborhood. And they're going to find out really quickly that Maokai is going to take his time getting on over to his own red. So it should be a pretty quick, easy, secure for Nintendo very early on. Very nice play.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing with the Maokai versus Nocturne, is that Nocturne is going to be able to have his way with him the entire game, just putting on that map presence. He could try and get a gank off mid, just going to come down, steal these wraiths, give them a reset, or is he just going to leave one of them?
Just leaving one of them. He's going to be a jerk. Because remember that the camps do not reset unless you take out the entire camp. So then Maokai's going to come on down, realizes, I only got 1 wraith. Now I know what they did. He's going to have to get just the 1. And then wait for the entire camp to respawn before he can go back.
I was kind of wondering, though, there is a potential. Sometimes you, particularly if you know that you have the counter jungling advantage, you can go finish off the Wraith camp completely, and then you're the only one who knows the timer, and you just you hit him on the timer, and Nocturne can almost insta-kill the camp, so he can just continue to steal them and put on that kind of pressure. In the meantime, Cassiopeia getting some nice harass onto Vlad, but he is going to be fine just to sit back, play really safe. He's going to be very comfortable and just let Cass run out of mana.
And then you got Dynamic, Zig, and Pixel pushing out pretty aggressively here. A lot of damage going down on Demon Wall. The minions getting a whole bunch of damage as well. The exhaust going down on the MF, which will get out of there just fine. Blood Boil from Pixel, keeping Zig speedy, keeping all that attack speed up as well. Nocturne giving a visit to top lane as well, but not really going to be getting a whole lot of anything. Malphite actually did back, picked up a Null Magic Mantle, ward, potions, everything necessary to stay healthy in that top lane.
Yeah, but Nocturne knows he's coming back with a ward, so he could sit there and just wait for him to come right into this bush, and he is going to walk right into him with that double buff.
Where's the fear? There's the Q, and the fear cruiser's in a very bad spot right now. Nintendo's taking a chunk of damage as well, but the thing is, though, that dissuaded Malphite from getting that ward, and he's going to be re-entering lane nearly as weak as he left.
Yeah, so it's really tough right now. Rumble's going to be able to control that lane, going to be able to farm, which is just huge to get Rumble that early farm. And so far, the Misfortune Nunu bot lane has just been working perfectly. It's just so much harass potential. It's a real struggle for them.
Yeah, so Demon Wall, he really has no choice but to just farm at a distance. And it's really prime real estate if Maokai actually does decide to come on down for a gank. Nintendo clearing out the wolves. But Lout Mortis actually going the long way around. Is he actually just going to flash over the wall? He's just going to tank the turret straight out. And now that means trouble. Zig and Pixel will have enough time, though, to leave through the river to safety going the long way.
Yeah, they didn't even get any damage or anything out of that. So a lot of times when you know you have a gank coming, it'll be beneficial for Corki and Soraka to just start diving right at Misfortune and Nunu and just get lots of free damage, force them right into the Maokai. The Ignite
they may have
going
enough
off.
time here. The Ignite going down onto Zig. Demon will try to get to the auto attacks. And man, Soraka with the Star Call getting the first blood, but the Ice Blast from Pixel will Demon will be able to get out of there. Heal, Nubish, where is it? Something, anything, come on. Waiting for that heal, waiting for it to come back, and nice juke out of the bush. Pixel, he's hungry. He wants that Corki. He wants to eat the plane.
Oh,
but
they
Pixel,
could get the skill with Maokai with the flash.
Did flash something, twisted advance, and getting the vision with the sapling, and there you go. Demon Low is just in time, and wonderful, wonderful coordination from Legion.
Yeah, really nice play to start off 2-0 in that bottom lane already. You know, really nice advantages. Vladimir coming up and checking to see what's going on. It's kind of surprising. He could pull himself out of position. He doesn't have any wards to drop, so I'm not really quite sure what he was looking for. If he was just trying to clear vision of the jungle, do they give you? No, they don't give you that. So not able to grab anything there. I was wondering if they would show you the jungle minion, but we saw from their vision they still don't have it. So I'm not really quite sure what he was looking to do up there.
Yep. So, and also you'll see Zion Spartan up in top lane still looking, he's being a little bit curious, trying to see what he can get here. There is a ward from Legion in the top Tribe Rush, looking out for those ganks that may be coming in from Nocturne. And Nintendo's just kind of, he's been sitting back, he's been farming, he's almost 6. And, once he's 6, he's going to have that ult. Those ganks are going to be that much more effective. And he's going to have so many more angles to gank from those lanes, too. But it's just a matter of what lane does he really want to gank? Because his team, for the most part, has actually been pushing up lanes quite a bit. But bot lane, that may actually seem to change in the near future because Demon Wall, bot lane did get 2 kills pretty recently. And now Corki and Soraka are taking this opportunity to go ahead and push out the wave themselves. So, Nintendo, though, the blue has respawned. Going to be passing it over to Cassiopeia. Mortis also making his presence known in the mid. But Legion's blue buff is going to be a little bit of a wait before that one respawns because they were late starting on that one.
Yeah, so it won't be there for a little bit, but even so, Nocturne can come up, take his red. Pretty even stuff so far, and actually with the sustain that they have bottom lane, they're doing really well as a kind of counter back onto this Misfortune Nunu lane. Despite how much damage they have, they're getting them low, and you can't just trade damage against a Soraka. You need to, I don't know, trade damage effectively. So Demon Law doing a really nice job there. They can kind of back off.
Yep, and now the lane is a little bit frozen and right in front of Legion's tower in bot. And in mid, Lout Mortis is looking to just hold the fort while Vlad gets back on the lane. He does have his revolver now, so he's going to be a little bit more sustainy. Same thing with Rumble, top lane Zion Spartan. So, yeah, that's a big, huge damage. That's a big, huge item for both Rumble and for Vlad. They both got him now, so he's going to be sticking around in lane a little bit longer. You also got the Madrid's Razor onto Nocturne as well. His jungle clear is going to be a little bit more speedy. And the Phage being bought by Corki as well. Going to go ahead, start on that Trinity. Look to be bursting a little bit more. Got 3 members of Legion here looking to secure the blue because they know Nintendo and Zion Spartan, they're a little bit too close. But there you go. Demon Wall does Valkyrie out. Zig put a little bit too much damage down on Demon Wall. There goes the Ignite. He's got to flash away, but Nubish is really low getting out of that fight. But blue is secured. Lout Mortis going to have it for himself. Vlad doesn't benefit too much from it. Granted, the cooldown's great, but Vlad is a mana-less champion.
Yeah, I mean, the cooldown direction later in the game will be nice, but it allows Maokai to speed up his jungle, and Vlad really doesn't need it, so he's going to be fine. What is the item there? Okay, so he does have to worry about some of the damage from Cassiopeia because she's getting that point where she can just insta-kill him if she gets the ultimate off.
Yes.
He's still going to be able to pull, but with the Ignite and the Poison hitting through the pool, he's going to take a lot of damage very quickly, particularly if she ults and then Nocturne ults as well. So Maokai might sit mid a little bit and try and help her out because just that combo damage is going to be so strong. Vladimir, will die almost instantly if they try and go in for that. So he's going to want to play defensively, just continue to farm right now.
But Paradoxical is just doing so well farming in the mid. 86 to 53, that is a huge difference. And now you see Paradoxical coming on in behind through the Tri-Brush, trying to get something happening on Cruiser, and there you go. That is the pings wanting to go make something happen. Paradoxical taking the tower, the ult from Cruiser, keeping him still under, does have to flash away, and there you go, Zion Spartan, take out the tower, take the tower, take the tower. Okay, I was scared of her for a second, but here comes Maokai, twisted advance on the Paradoxical, could finish this. There it is, and the cube, that's going to be more than enough to take out the Snake Lady. Ult, Zion Spartan will go down
too.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, kind of a waste of his flash there, getting out of there. In the meantime, a little bit of a damage exchange. Valkyrie from Demon Law. There's the Nunu ultimate, though, so Zig does go down, but Nunu actually picking up the kill there as well. We'll get some damage onto Anubish and then back off.
Support fight.
Still chasing after him, yeah.
Support fight. Nah, Pixel's just going to back off from that one. I love support fights. They are the funnest.
But a little bit surprising to see how Paradoxical ran that gank up top because they had plenty of damage to take down Malphite, but Malphite baiting him in a little bit, was able to get the ultimate, so they both got very low, whereas they could have just kind of poked him down for a little bit. Or if Zion Spartan had tanked the tower for a second and allowed Paradoxical to just walk into range to throw off the ultimate, they could have just insta-killed Malphite and gotten out of there. But really nice job with the follow-up from Legion to be able to come back and get it. Nintendo misses the fear, actually hits it on a minion, so Connect is going to be okay.
Minion. There's one very afraid minion. But you also got to note that there is a 3-kill advantage for Legion, but the gold is actually still pretty even because that is just the superior farming Dynamic has had this entire time. Like I said, looking at the mid lane, Cassiopeia is just so far ahead in farm over Vlad. It's getting a little bit
and top lane as well. So they
same thing.
They have big advantages in the mid and top lane. It's keeping them in this game.
So there you go. And now Nintendo, he has been sitting back. He has been farming. He is past 6 now. He is 7. Does have the ult. Could be looking for some. Who could be looking for some ganks in the near future? He can go ahead and get in on pretty much nearly every lane, provided they aren't pushed all the way in, which unfortunately has been a lot of Dynamics lanes for the most part of this game. But now Rumble is actually going to make an appearance mid lane, pushing Vlad back, and a lot more with the Oracles. Looking to clear some wards, and there's Corki with the cover fire, providing the time that Loudmortis needs to go ahead and clear that bush of wards.
Yeah, and Nocturne's coming down here as well, so they're actually going to be forcing a fight. Mortis does back off, so just barely. They're okay.
Everyone from Dynamics around.
Yeah, from both teams. So it's a 5v5 down here if they decide to force the Dragon. Dynamic, they have a very strong Dragon team with both Cassiopeia and with Nocturne. They can kill it very quickly, so that's always something to consider from them. They're passing the blue off, so Cassiopeia does grab that blue. Will be safe there. Mortis kind of sticking up here, trying to see if he could steal it or anything, but it's down. And so we'll see. Actually, they're all positioning themselves bottom, so this is actually going to be a 5v3 bottom for Legion.
Nintendo, he's in the Tri-Brush. Will he be able to delay a lot more than up? There's the Q. Twisted Advance going down onto New, and Pixel got out a little bit too far, and there's all 5 members of Legion there looking to get the kill onto Zig. He is exhausted. Anything, no damage, no, that's fine. But Cassiopeia is nearby, but you don't want to be engaging a 2v5. That's always just a really bad decision, no matter how you cut it. But look at Rumble, though, still top lane. This is his cue to just push top lane relentlessly. So, but I don't think bot tower. The Legion's actually not going to take bot tower. Are they actually going to go for Dragon?
Yeah, I think the idea is that they don't want to take the bot turret at this point. They want to just allow it up so that they can continue to farm in the bottom lane. Nintendo almost walking into that. He will be okay with that shield. Yeah. Rumble had started off coming down bot, and so it was a 5v5 originally, but then recognizing the opportunity, seeing, all right, well, they're not going to be able to take Dragon, so I'm just going to go top. Because they don't have a very good Dragon team. Vladimir's not that great at Dragon. Against Cassiopeia, Cassiopeia could just wreck them if they're all in that AoE. And now we're seeing actually Dynamic, just the 2 of them are going to take it. And it will be a very fast clear. They do have to watch out, though, because they are completely surrounded at this point.
Legion, 4 members of Legion are there in front of the Dragon. The nice spell shield is going to go ahead and keep the Twisted Advance away, but nice darkness, keeping everyone shrouded. That's a lot of vision reduced on Legion, allowing the time Nintendo needed to go ahead and get back to tower. And also, not to mention, Zion Spartan top lane did actually manage to take out the tier 1. And is he taking the blue? I think he's actually taking the blue also.
Yeah, he is.
Wow, very well done.
I'm a little bit surprised that Legion didn't just turn onto that dragon, though, because it was very low. It was already done for them, basically. But trying to get the 1 kill when they could have taken the dragon. So, I don't know. It's just the gold efficiency wasn't there. They could have taken it, but even so, they're getting some nice control over this map. They're doing a really nice job so far. We'll see, if that continues.
Yep, and like I said before, granted, provided Legion is up in kills, Dynamic just purely on farm is they have more than enough gold to go ahead and recoup that loss. So it's still a relatively even game for the time being.
Going back to what I was saying earlier with the tower bot, they left the tower bot open because a lot of times if you take the tower, this isn't something that we've seen for a while, but if you take the tower a little bit too early, or I mean this isn't early, but it would end the laning phase bottom basically. And what would happen is Misfortune and Nunu, they could start to freeze the lane at the second turret and prevent Corki from farming. The benefit of taking the tower early is if you're going to snowball the rest of the map, and it gives you that gold and map control and whatnot. But against Rumble and against Cassiopeia, they know that at this point in time, they're not really strong enough to just all-out fight or push down a turret. So they wouldn't be able to take any other turrets. So all it would basically do is cripple their bottom lane. So as a result, they leave it up. Rumble is sitting down here, though, and Cruiser doesn't see him top, so they probably have an idea that he's somewhere trying to get a kill, but we'll see if they are able to catch him out of by surprise here with the Maokai gank, actually.
Well, Mortis taking the long way around, but they spotted him, getting his position into that tri-brush, and may actually be caught out. Zion Spartan, he does have the ult available to him, but they're not going to go ahead and press that one too hard. Cruiser top lane, Nintendo X taking the spot top lane. Just, killing time because Rumble went on a little bit of a vacation. And there you go. There's the ult in mid going down onto Vlad. Cassiopeia wants some poison down on him, but there you go, forcing the flash out of Kenkith.
Yeah, so they're able to get out of there. Nice job from Maokai to follow him around, so not allowing him to get any pressure. He's farmed, but he's not snowballing at all. And Rumble can snowball very quickly if he gets any kills, so he wants to use his ultimate. He doesn't want to just sit around until the game gets too late and he maybe falls off a little bit. But he has the AoE. And Cassiopeia and Rumble, it's the team that Mono, or Dynamic at least, they started off with when they were Team Mono. This is the team that, it started it all. It was able to pick up so many wins because it has just so much great team fight control. Cassiopeia getting some nice damage on the Loud Mortis, not throwing off the ultimate, does flash after him though, along with the Nocturne. There's the Fear as well. They have plenty of damage. They're able to pick up that kill, and now actually Paradoxical chasing after Knick, not going to be able to get off the ultimate there, so they're going to be okay and get out.
A little bit of damage from Demon Well as they leave the jungle, but there you go, quick kill from Dynamic. That could also result in a dragon as well, but that was wonderful play. Paradoxical flashing over the wall because you need that vision in order for Nintendo to actually come on in with the rest of the ult, but very well done. You got killed, you got a dragon, and Rumble still chilling top lane. Zion Spartan, just the push, can't stop, won't stop, pressing the lane against that Malphite.
Yeah, so I mean, he is very safe in that top lane, and Malphite does a little bit better against physical bruisers than those kind of double AP comps. And that's one of the counters oftentimes to Malphite, is that kind of a double AP comp. But we've seen, recently that, I mean, it doesn't counter him out as successfully as you would like, because Malphite's still going to have really strong initiation, and he's still going to be able to shut down, your AD carries, like Misfortune in this game. So they still have to watch out. Malphite will die very quickly to the double AP because he's like deceptively tanky. If you see, he only has 1,800 HP right now, so he's not, the tankiest champion considering he's a tank. I mean, he has actually a really low base HP compared with a number of other tank champions in the game. So having that burst can take him down pretty easily, but he's still going to be extremely disruptive. And then late game, once he does have a lot of health and a lot of items, he's just going to be too tanky for their burst to take down. In the meantime, Loud Mortis actually getting in there.
Goes through the Cassiopeia ult during the Twisted Advance animation. Paradox will actually be going down here. Yes, the finishing of the Vlad ult will be more than enough. You know what? Twisted Advance has a lot of strange properties, and that just happens to be one of them. Just ignore Cassiopeia ult, just straight out.
Oh, it's ignore everything. He's invulnerable basically when he uses the Twisted Advance. So really nice job from Maokai getting in there and having the follow-up damage. Cassiopeia trying to stop him, but could have waited a second and tried to get both Maokai and Vladimir, but not quite able to turn it around.
But still, though, like like I mentioned before, even with the kills and all that, the gold is still pretty even. So good on Dynamic. So we're keeping the farm up, keeping the gold pretty even. You also see Rumble looking to build into that death cap. Cassiopeia finishing off the Rylai's. There's a lot of slow to have on that poison, because as long as that poison's on, the slow's going to proc.
Yeah, and the nice thing with the death cap compared with other Rumble builds, a lot of times you'll see, Revolver into like a Rylai's, and that's like a really strong build. You can get a lot of damage, but then having that slow, getting a little bit tanky, so you don't have to worry about being quickly bursted down. That can be really nice. But having the pure damage with the death cap, your ultimate is just going to be so devastating to teams that aren't really mobile. They have a pretty mobile team, so I don't know. I think the idea is just they want to be able to instantly win fights. They want to be able to just crush their opposition with their pure damage output. And having that much damage on Rumble, it takes a little bit of the pressure off of Misfortune and Cassiopeia. So they have 3 champions in this game that are all extremely high damage dealers. So Malphite, he can't shut all of them down as long as they split. And that's kind of where they're going with that.
And as you mentioned before, the best part of the team like this that deals so much damage is you can take objectives very efficiently. The objectives like Dragon, the objectives like Baron, which we know Dynamic loves to go for early whenever they get the opportunity. Ignite going down on a Malphite Cruiser's in a little bit of trouble, and the ult will not manage to get those last few hits.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he just misclicked there and he was trying to just go straight down the lane or what, but almost taking him down. He does have nice control over that lane. Bot lane is down for Zig and Pixel now, and they can kind of move around with their team. So right now, with their AoE, this is really where they want to start fighting. They can just clean up fights with Cassiopeia and Rumble, and then have Misfortune for the follow-up. And Connect might actually get caught out of position here. Same with Maokai, because they are surrounded currently by both Nocturne and Rumble.
Yeah, Nocturne can just ult in. The ult is up. Rumble, the ult, unfortunately, is not. But he's got a lot of damage. He's fine us on his own. And now there does need to be a minion wave to try and support to actually get the push in. But Malphite's a little bit too far out intended with the Q to get that speedless. There is the fear. Will it proc? Yes, it does. Further on into the tower he goes. And there's no way Dynamic can actually capitalize on that one.
Yeah, so they are safe there, but trying to pick someone up, and Connect actually almost instantly killing Paradoxical. Let's see how much damage the ultimate does. The flash, and then missing the ultimate from Paradoxical, baiting it out there, but just barely not able to finish him off.
That was a nice little tango, but it did bait out the Soraka heal. You can go ahead and write that, put that one down on your checkbox at home. But still, though, it was not the. It could have been more. It could have definitely been more off of that. But Paradoxical will have to go home. We'll have to back fully. Picking up a Negatron cloak, actually, so possibly an Abyssal being built into the near future.
Yeah, Abyssal would work very well for their team, and it also gives them a little bit of survivability because he doesn't want to go down quite so fast. So he actually built Rylai's into the Abyssal because he recognizes, all right, they're just going to absolutely crush me with this Malphite ultimate. I need to survive through it in order to get my damage off. It's not that I want to be a tanky. I just want to be tanky enough to get all of my damage off. So it's a really nice build, and then having that Abyssal as well, if that is where he's going, which it probably is, then he'll be able to combo that with Rumble and just have a lot more AoE damage for their team. They can just eat through Legion. So they have a really high damage team right now.
Not to mention that in terms of Magic Pen, Vlad actually has a Haunting Guise on himself, actually. It's a really good item that works on him because you have the health, you have the Magic Pen, and it's really all Vlad needs. Just more health on Vlad is always a good thing. He does scale off that a little bit extra AP. And more health allows him to fire off more abilities. Oh, but there you go. Nintendo catching out Lattimore with the fear. Going to run into the forest for a second. But while running, Vlad was taking a whole bunch of extra damage in the process. And not to mention, Zion Spartan is also still around, still waddling through the jungle. Ult is ready to pop whenever necessary, but Dragon should be coming up, and there you go. And also, I was mentioning before, how Dynamic has wonderful damage to take a mini objectives like this. I also forget, Nunu had his consume buffed recently, and there you go. There's a Nocturne ult down onto Demon Well, forcing Valkyrie out, and Loud Mortis is way far out from the rest of the team. Zion Spartan may actually go down here. He's very low, can still use the ult, and there you go, from a distance, getting the slow. Kankith goes down next. But Nunu will go down to process Pixel. You will be missed. Unfortunately, the slow's not going to be available in this next fight, but Paradoxical and Zion Spartan intended are so low. Cruiser is his ult up, no does not. That is a lot very quickly. can the rest of Dynamic fall in just one fell swoop if given the opportunity.
Yeah, and so they all got very low, but Dynamic was able to kind of win that fight with their AoE.
Oh,
It's
there
just,
you go.
Oh,
Demon
wow.
Law with the Valkyrie. The bush was warded. Oh, what? Zion Spartan, all of that damage being healed from the revolver. Spell Vamp too strong.
That's surprising. So Corki jumping in, trying to pick up the kill, and I mean, Corki was the big turnaround for them. So they had the quick AoE. They were able to win that fight pretty quickly, but then Corki was able to grab a couple of kills, wanted to grab one more, pull it into their favor, and grab him when he wasn't looking, catch him with his pants down. But, you know, nice turnaround, the heal, you know, with his shield. And,
Well,
you know,
unfortunately enough, I don't actually think Rumble wears pants.
Yeah.
So in that instance, they're always down.
Right. Well,
he is a Yordle.
You clearly missed last evening with Captain America not wearing pants in his, you know, mother's basement playing Rumble.
You know what? I don't. You know what? We're just gonna.
We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. But Zion Spartan now with his little mini victory over Corki will return to top lane to farm off that immensely massive creep wave that has been acquiring. But it's the all of Legion, and this is I like this from Legion. Every time blue is up, the bulk of the team actually goes to secure it because they know the threat that is there.
Oh, did she get it? She
stole
it.
She got it. Very well done by Zig. Gonna go ahead laughing as MF takes away the blue buff just on the edge.
Yeah, really nice play from Zig.
Oh, and there you go. Loudmore just walking into the bush.
Minimal damage.
Yeah, minimal. Nintendo almost
it forces Nintendo out, though, and it gives them some nice vision that they're missing. Yep. Cassiopeia taking her blue as well, so you know, that'll be nice for her. But it's kind of interesting. A lot of times, AD champs, it can be huge to get the blue buff. We'll see. They're actually kind of pinched here. They could have an engaged. Zion Spartan chasing down Connect here. Does get very low. Vladimir is able to pick up that kill, but Paradoxical with the follow-up. And there's the ultimate. And then Demon Law is going to drop as well. Almost trying to pick up a kill, but can't quite do it. So nice 2-kill pickup for Dynamic.
1 for 2, but you know what? There is still plenty of damage on Dynamic. You know how they like to take Baron early.
Yeah, there's no damage on Legion now.
There's no damage on Legion, but Dynamic, you've got Nocturne with the Wriggles. You got Cassiopeia, she's a monster, and Nunu is there to just he can just walk up and
this
fight.
This is dangerous, though.
Oh, this is a little bit hairy.
They want to bait it in. I mean, they have a lot of damage for Baron, so they're like kind of questioning themselves. They're like, do we take it? Do we not take it? Because Nocturne and Cassiopeia can kill it very quickly. The issue is Malphite's ultimate is still up, and so Malphite is really the only person they would have to fear at this point, but he'd be able to ult in, pick up 1, maybe 2 kills, stop the Baron. And that would be kind of a hairy situation. So they'll back off. They have a nice little gold advantage. Misfortune can go down bot and farm. And with that blue buff, having that spam ability on those AoE abilities is definitely huge.
Yeah,
she can just clear waves very easily.
If Paradoxical was a little bit more healthy, I think they would have gone in on it because, you know, like Malphite is like, okay, who's the lowest down here? It's Cassiopeia, and they really need Cass to actually just go ahead and pile so much damage on the Baron. If Paradoxical was full, I think they would have gone in on it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But they're in a pretty good spot right now. Dynamic, they're edging out a gold lead. They're 2K ahead. Nothing too huge at this point in the game, but still significant. And now you also see Newish buying the Oracles, getting the ward coverage down because they know this is going to be the next major objective. That will be Baron. Yeah,
that's it's definitely going to be kind of risky, but they can force it. So they can force that fight now that they're high health because of their Baron presence. Legion really has to watch out for that. So that's going to be a serious issue, whether or not they try and pressure that Baron, and they are actually going to be clearing out. They have the Oracles. Nintendo hasn't seen the ward yet. There we go. So
there you go.
Head on up there. And
there's also still a ward in that one solo bush. They're going to go ahead and find it. Always, if you have an Oracles, always, always, always check that bush because it's that could be a very sneaky placement. And sometimes you might just miss it as well. There you go. More wards going down. Just trying to get the pizza candy play going in. Just seeing if anyone can be baited out to try and clear that one ward in the bush. But now you see Legion all 5 in mid looking to push, try and get some pressure on the mid tier 1. Waiting for the cannon min. You can be a hero. No, never mind. Nintendo swipe. Go ahead, take him out.
The big issue is, even though Dynamic could pressure the Baron, they don't necessarily want to because of all the AoE from Legion. If they, hold themselves in just a small little tight area, neither of these teams really want to fight in the jungle because it really would come down to just who gets the head start on their opponent, because both of them could just AoE board clear them if they get the initiation advantage. So.
Yeah. So it's just be Zion Spartan with his ult or Cruiser with his ult. Like whoever gets theirs off first could very well just run away with everything. And not to mention, in the jungle too, that makes Pixel's ult that much more effective. Nunu, get everyone in a tight spot, just let the thing full proc, and that can be huge.
Oh, but they're actually going to be able to pressure this tower. With the next wave, they could maybe take it, but they have to watch out now with the Rumble and with the Cassiopeia. Rumble can force the initiation. That's one of the strengths. Since your ultimate is just so long range, you force the initiation, and then Cassiopeia can have the follow-up, or Nocturne with the follow-up to set it up for Cassiopeia. So they will have to watch out for it. And if they can get, the strong AoE clear that they want, then they're just going to be golden. It's going to be fantastic. But the same thing goes for Legion. Both teams will probably want to sit back. Legion needs to clear that top wave, get some momentum on the lanes before they fight again. So Corki is going to do the same thing. He's just going to head bottom, get some momentum on the bottom waves so he can come back up.
Rumble picking up the Void Staff to try and get through some of the defenses, which are not too plentiful on Legion. But there you go, Nocturne ult on the Loud Mortis. Wants the fear, but he does get out of the way, but Kenketh is just way too far out. Zonia's Hourglass will be enough, will be all the protection he needs. No, Zion Spartan going to go and grab that kill. And you also see everyone from Legion, they want to get out of there. They know in a bad spot. Demon Lull did have to burn the flash to get out of that one. And are they gonna?
That's one of the nice things with Dynamic's team is how long range their initiation potential is. They can force fights very easily. And then once they clear the waves, they can kind of just bait this Baron out, and it's going to force Legion to walk right into a bush or something. Nintendo just barely peeking the ward again.
There you go.
So they won't be able to force this. They're actually just going to go straight for it. It's going to die extremely quickly.
Nunu nomming that thing out in front, and all the poison damage, all of the auto attacks, so many procs on that Wriggles. And there you go. It goes down pretty quick. Shirelli is being propped from Dynamic. They want to engage here. Zion Spartan's ult isn't quite up yet. The ults they really need for initiation are not all up, but they got Baron. That
one Nocturne ult with the initiation from the Nocturne ult on the Maokai and on the Vladimir, the one kill resulted in a Baron for Dynamic. So they have the follow-up. Oh, the quick flash from Paradoxical getting out of Cruiser's ultimate.
That was like my heart just kind of sank for a second. It was like flash, ult, flash, like whoa. That'll make anybody panic.
And in the meantime, Zig taking the dragon, so they are going to get that. Legion did take that mid turret, so they have that. It gives them a little bit more map control, a little bit more gold. Loud Mortis is like, oh dang, dragon's not there, so they will back off, but they can get the bot turret, and that's always a nice thing to continue pushing when you're behind and when the enemy team has Baron. The big thing with pushing, not only are they going to get like this free gold from all these low turrets, but it also, as long as they keep the waves up, it's going to take Dynamic a little bit longer to push into their base. And if they push one lane and then there's momentum in like bot lane for Legion, then all of a sudden Dynamic, if they stall out, they're like, oh, well now there's a large wave pushing bottom, we better go clear that, and it could stall them out of this Baron. So Legion doing a nice job starting the push.
And Zion Spartan, he's out there being a jerk in the mid lane, trying to put Kenneth back. But Baron has got a little bit more than 2 minutes left on that thing, about 2.5. So now Dynamic, they just need to go, okay, we have this buff. What do we do with it? What do we pressure? Mid lane is always a good choice, always a good option. Just go straight up the middle. But they need to wait for a supporting creep wave to try and get their back on this. But Nintendo, with his ult, he is capable of split pushing. He could decide to wander top or bottom if he so desires, bot being the more reasonable candidate since the wave is pushed up a little bit further down there. But he could also just lay in wait, waiting to see if there's going to be a dive happening. He just could ult right on in. But there you go. There is the wave pushing Zig in the back, just pushing away at the tower. Zion Spartan may actually go down, does have to flash away. And now Dynamic's backing up, but there is the Rumble ult trying to get engaged. And there's the Shirley's pop for Legion to just get away. And the turret will be pressured and taken for Dynamic.
Yeah, I think after Zion Spartan got low, they recognized that they didn't really want to fight there, so the ultimate was really just to clear the creep wave and force them back. So they got the turret, they can back off. They're not in a situation where they're going to have a head-on fight, and he's going to be extremely low, because then all of a sudden this game could just completely turn against them. So they grab it, then they start pushing down bottom. In the meantime, Rumble and Nunu aren't here, so this could open up an opportunity for Cruiser if he can get that ultimate off on them.
So there you go. The creep wave will be melted pretty quick by Legion, but here's another one not too far away. Zig just walking away. The Dynamic, only 3 of them are down here. They are outnumbered. This is not something to want to press all 5 members of Legion down here. But Nunu, Rumble, they're not too far behind. They could try and set up a trap here. Maybe like camp out in the tri-brush, wait for someone from Legion come in. Legion wisely camping out over at the red is a very tricky game, but nice ward in the bush. Dynamic knows Legion's not too far behind, and there is the Shirley's pop. The poison gonna get a little bit of it. There's intended going straight on in. Wants to focus down Corky, but there you go. Cruiser going straight in. Wants to focus down Zig, but intended will take out Inubis first. Demon will be caught out. Get a double kill for the intended. The Cassiopeia, Rumble getting their respective kills, and that is working out pretty well for him. Loud Mortis has really nowhere to go.
Yeah, they just have so much damage, and Legion can't, you know, focus anyone down. So Everett's getting kind of low for Dynamic, but very easily they win that fight. They're just so far ahead right now. I mean, just with the Abyssal Scepter and with the Void Staff on Rumble and everything, they just have so much clearing capabilities, and they're just absolutely devastating Legion in these team fights. They're going to get this 1 inhibitor. They should get 2 inhibitors here, unless they decide to just go straight for it. Actually, they probably have enough time, so this is probably going to be a Nexus if they push right in with these waves.
Zion Spartan leading the charge, taking out that first Nexus turret, and this is Loud Mortis' chance. Does go in for a twisted advance, but will melt pretty quick. Nubish is not there in time to get the heal. And just Pixel doing a fantastic job tanking the turret. Nexus is naked. Zion Spartan is here. Krennikith is up, but there you go. They have enough time. They have all the damage, and there goes the Nexus. Game 1 gonna be going to Team Dynamic. The double explosion. Love that. 272.
With Vlad. I don't even know what Vlad was. All right, there we go.
272. That's the pertinent information right there. It's big and it's orange.
All right,
there we go.
I guess it's significant. I was trying to figure out this is like a lost thing that Riot is feeding us. They start throwing up numbers.
It's for a raffle. We're number 272.
Ooh, what's the prize? Could we win a boat?
Not Pulsefire Israel.
Well, right, because everyone has it already except for you.
It could be anything. It could be a boat.
It could even be a boat.
It could even be a boat. But there you go. Dynamic with wonderful, wonderful play. Things were definitely seesawing back and forth, though, and there were definitely opportunities for Legion, but it was a little bit too much. Dynamic had a fantastic objective clearing team. You have Nunu, you got Cassiopeia, you got Nocturne with the Wriggles, you got Misfortune. Dragon and Baron just cannot stand up to all of that damage.
Yeah, it was a really high damage team, and with damage, I mean, it's like an old adage. With damage, you can always win a fight. It doesn't matter, you know, what kind of CC or anything anyone has. As long as you have damage, if you run the fight the right way, you can win. So we'll see how it'll work for game number 2, how Legion will kind of run things, whether or not we see any bans. Rumble and Cassiopeia, I would expect one of them to be banned. It kind of makes the fight. Yeah, I think Cassiopeia is probably one. Cassiopeia is something that you haven't seen in a while for Cassiopeia, because she is kind of close range. She is vulnerable to champions like Rumble, Malphite, because you can just ult right on top of her, and she needs that time in order to get her abilities off. So we'll see, though, but she was absolutely devastating. It's just so much upfront damage. We'll see how they kind of change things up. But game number 1, going to Dynamic over Legion, IPL face-off. We'll be back in a second. We'll be going to a commercial break, and we'll check out game number 2 when we get back.
We'll see you guys in a minute. Stay tuned.